Hey guys, I was out here the other night and I was putting the cable in the boat and I stuck it through the wrong hole, so I've got to take it back out to put it back in. That's another story, but I just wanted to share with you a little revelation I made, which was I had left the gas tank up here, sitting just like this, and I think yesterday, I'm not sure if it was yesterday or not, but my son, I think, had noticed that I had left this vent open on top here. And he asked me, he says, "Oh, Daddy, why'd you leave that open?" I think he had a concern because we were going to get some rain, that I shouldn't have left that open. So I said, "I don't know." And he closed it, and I watched him close it. So it's my own fault, because I could have said right there, "No, you better leave it open." But it didn't occur to me that it was going to be an issue. And we left this morning, came back around noontime, and you can see the Dakota's parked right over there, and I get out of the truck and I'm walking to the house and I smell gas like crazy, and I'm like, what the heck? And I look over and gas is pumping out, trickling out of that fitting. And I realized what had happened was the sun today had heated up the air in the airspace inside the tank and pressurized the tank because the vent wasn't open. And when it pressurized the tank, since the dip tube was underneath the level of gas in the container, it started to force gasoline up the dip tube and out the fitting. And it was leaking like crazy. And you can see it's all over the side of the boat. That's what this all is dark. This is all from gasoline. There's a big stain on the ground here. It was all over the seats. Not that I care. Those seats are junk anyways. But so there's a lesson there. Should leave those vents cracked. So I rethreaded, painstakingly rethreaded the cable through the side there. What do they call it? The gunwales of the boat, or whatever they call them. Anyways, only to realize that after I got it all the way up there, that I put it through the wrong hole. It's supposed to be that hole down there. So I was like, oh well, I'll just pull it. I'll just continue to pull it in. But the problem is, because of the length of that tube right there, I can't make the turn. So I have no alternative now but to pull it all the way back out and thread it in again. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you get in the boat on from this side? That way, because yesterday, to do this, I kept having to climb in the boat and out of the boat because it kept getting hung up, and then I had to come over here and blah, 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 blah. So, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. So, what you want to do is, you see that end of the cable over there?
Yeah.
You see that rib-like thing that's sticking out there? The metal part. That's all covered with grease. So don't touch that.
Okay.
Okay? What we're gonna do is, I'm gonna pull on this, and as I pull on this, you need to try and push that cable back. So if you start by pushing, if you take this cable and you push it up under the dash so it starts straightening out, then I'll be able to pull it that way. There you go. Take this out right here, and this has got to go through this hole right here. I'm looking at it. All right, reach in there and grab it by the nut. No, under here. You got to go under here. Got it. All right. Feed it in a little bit. Okay. Now push it in. The nut keeps sliding down the cable this way. We need the nut on the other side of that partition. Look under here and see if you can see that that weird greasy part.
Yeah, I can.
Here? Is it out here yet?
Yes. It's. Move your hand, please. Straight. It's bending up.
It's bending up?
Yeah, it's going like that.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to get in the boat. What? Hey! Why'd you turn the motor on?
Why are these screws down here?
Not screws.
Bolts.
They're for the clamp for that holds that rod in place once it's put back in there. But we gotta get the cable in first. I need to grease this part, put fresh grease on it, so that when I stick it inside of the helm, which is what this gear mechanism is called, and I turn the wheel, it'll pull it in, and the grease will go inside that and grease the inside of this unit at the same time. So, I think we're ready for grease. I wonder if that shouldn't go through that hole.
Why?
I'm thinking it shouldn't. There's a hole in the dashboard right here that's got cables and wires going through it. And I actually think it should come out here maybe and turn down, because this is lower. The spot on the helm where this goes in is actually almost level with the bottom edge of this dashboard. So the cable right now needs to come out and make a sharp turn to go into that, but it also has to make a sharp turn and go down at a improper angle. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this back. Go ahead, pull that cable back out. Not too far. We don't want to do all the work we did. Okay, now feed it back in.
That's why I brought gloves.
I'm gonna get some grease. Now there's probably all types of grease that you could use on this, but there's probably like only a few that are the correct grease. Correct being like some sort of special expensive marine waterproof grease. But I'm just gonna use this grease. You know what this is? This came with a like a U-joint kit or a constant velocity joint or something, automotive, and they give you these packs of grease, and you just cut the top off and you squeeze it, the grease comes out. So it's probably a pretty decent grade of grease as grease goes. See that hornet? Look at that hornet right there. See? That's the guy who came visiting last night. I think there's another nest under there. I don't know how I didn't get bit. Stung, technically. They don't bite. Well, they do bite, but different use of the word. So I think I want, let's see, I want this hand free to work the cable and everything and twist it into position. So I guess I'll put the glove on this hand. I'll try my best to get this all over the carpet under here. You hear something?
Yeah.
What is that?
Might be your money.
I think I'm getting poorer as I speak. Poorer by the minute. Oh, gotta get nice big globs on here that fall off onto the carpet. I'm going to use my patented applicator. You know what my patented applicator is?
Nope.
It's my hand. Squeeze this grease into this, to these grooves on this thing. Oh yeah, nice. Then I'm going to get this into here. Okay.
Do it more slack.
No. So now, what I do is I turn this wheel. Let's see, pulls it in. Alright, we need a little more of that cable. Careful, I almost get a head full of this. Alright, pull it counterclock. Do it counterclockwise. Go ahead.
Yep, it's going in and out.
So it's supposed to do. Now you know what?
What?
Well, I was gonna say we got a problem, but I just realized I can just. That fuel line is gonna have to go over the top of the steering rod, and the electrical cable to the motor is gonna have to go over the steering rod. Look how this is. Look at. You wouldn't want this. Look. See how this is being bent down sharply and going under here? That's horrible. But all we have to do is disconnect it from the motor, put it over the top, and we'll be all set. So we can fix that. Same thing with this cable. This cable should probably be on the top, going over the top of it by the looks of it. Over the top. In fact, I'm going to leave that off for now because I'm going to have to wrestle with that cable. Now this metal piece has to be moved back to where it was, way over here. And then that has to be put back in that special clamp that's inside there. Yeah. That ain't gonna work.
Hold it for you.
You're gonna have to hold this part right here. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? If I put this in the motor, hold on, we can let the motor do the work for us.
It screws in, I bet. I see threads. And
Oh yeah, it does. And then there would be a nut that goes on top. Yeah, it's gonna be a ordeal doing that. So
I'll hold it.
yeah, see if we can hold on to that. Put a little tension on it. I'll see if I can slide this thing back down. Might have been just there. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see where.
This is a little discolored here though too. I can't, but I think that line was right there. Yeah, that's it. Right about there. That's junk anyways. Scrap metal now. You know, this would be good to do. Cut this piece off, and I could keep it in the truck. And when I go to a flea market or swap meet, if I see a prop and I want to know if it'll fit this boat, I could just have this with me and see if it fits. All right, so I guess probably would be a good idea to put grease in this little socket before I put this back together. Well, it's getting dark, and the mosquito is going to be out in force shortly. I'm glad I got as much as I got done. I got the cable back in, I got the clamp almost completely tightened down. I left it a little bit loose right now in case I need to mess with that alignment. I started to thread this in, and I realized I didn't bring the right size wrench out. So I've just got to tighten this in and then find a locking nut to go on top of that. I never adjusted I never drove these tilt tube nuts back down to where they're supposed to be, so I got to do that. I rerouted the cable over the top like I wanted to. I'm going to put some grease on this part of the rod and then try and get this rubber cover right here to snap back into place over that for some protection. But that's going to be it for tonight.